What's up, fam? Wanted to let you guys know that this week's 2 minutes will have a more of a serious tone to it. So if you're not in the mood for that kind of dialect, those kind of conversations, I encourage you to check back in with us next week, where we'll hopefully be back to our fun-loving, playful content. Enjoy. What's happening, Wright One fam? This is your 2 minutes with Albert. Now, initially, this video was going to be about the importance of teachers making sure to share with other teachers. But in light of recent events, we have had to kind of pivot the direction of this. My purpose for starting this web show initially was to bring a bit of comic relief to a kind of a dismal situation that we were in. And 2 weeks ago, I had to broach a subject that was a bit kind of controversial. The subject of what one thing people saw as pleasant and protecting another demographic of the world might have saw as threatening and scary. Now, my hope was that that was going to be the last time I had to address such complicated things, but it seems that it won't be. So this week, my goal is to talk about our current situation and what we as educators need to do about it. So let's get it in. So first, let's look at the problem. People are hurting. People are hurting because of injustices that are happening. Now, hear me. These aren't new things. These aren't things that are just now started. These are things that have always happened. They're just a bit rawer now because we are constantly being faced with it. What do I personally think about the rioting that's happening? I think it's situational. What's more important, the building or the people that died because of the building? But I also know that there are people who are literally losing their livelihoods with these businesses that are going down. And for those people, I still grieve. I'm frustrated for them too. Now let me give you my opinion on law enforcement. As many of you guys know, one of my absolute best friends is in law enforcement. There are times when we don't always see eye to eye on things. So in that place, what is my responsibility? Well, I go back to the instructions. We're supposed to love thy neighbor. It never ever said, love thy neighbor only when they love you. It says, love them. We as a society have forgotten, or maybe we've just never learned how to disagree respectfully. So am I mad at all police? Absolutely not. They're absolutely needed. And if you're a man or woman in law enforcement, thank you for your service. The same way I will not judge all of law enforcement by the actions of a few is the exact same way I do not want society to judge all of African Americans by the example of a few. Is I need you to fix your gaze on what's right. If you start swinging at everything that makes you feel uncomfortable, we'll win no ground. What's your North Star? I'm tired of being the one to always have to answer all the black questions and all these other things. I'm tired of it. But sometimes I'm tired of being a dad. That doesn't mean I just walk away from it. Sometimes I'm tired of changing diapers. That doesn't mean I just leave them dirty. I do my job as a husband and a father. So if my boy's dirty, I change the diaper. But like I say, in everything, whether you've seen me on a video, whether you've seen me in person, wherever you've seen me, there's always something I encourage you to do. And I'm going to say it again just to make sure, no matter whether you're getting ready to enter into these conversations or whether you're already in them. Everything that we say, I want to be said in love. And everything we receive, I want it to be received in love. If we keep those two fundamental principles true, then we can get out of this thing. But if we're always worried about what the other side's doing, then nobody wins. And there's a generation of kids, I need them to get a win. People on all sides of this thing are grieving. Some are grieving through looting, some are grieving through rioting, and some people are just giving their opinion on every single platform they can. But the basis of it all is that people are grieving, and they're just going to grieve in different ways. So now that we've seen the problem, this is what I don't want to do. I do not want to give you a fix, because I think that's some of the problem. What happens is we as people, we see a problem and at times immediately want to go to the fix instead of forgetting about that place in the middle where sometimes people just need to grieve. What I want to do is teach you how to walk side by side with your fellow man. So if you ask me, hey, Albert, how are we supposed to grieve appropriately? I guess my question to you would probably be, well, how long do you feel that you've been grieving for? 4 minutes, 4 weeks, or 400 years? You see, it depends. One thing I found out being married to my wife is that grief at times is sweet, and at times grief is just explosive. They can't all be wrong. If my wife is grieving and she grieves quietly and it's wrong, and if she grieves loudly and it's wrong, then what's the right way to do it? What is the right way to grieve? Let me talk to the people who are rioting in that space right now. I hear you. I know the frustration. I know the anger. I hear you. And let me talk really quickly to the people who are saying this isn't how it should be done. I hear you too. But are you listening to the other side? I'm not saying any grieving that you're doing is wrong. I'm not saying that you're right for it. I'm just saying be mindful of who's watching us. Ecclesiastes talks about there's a time for everything. Time for joy and sorrow. Time to make war. Time to make peace. There's a time for dancing and praise. There's a time for mourning. There's a time for everything. So I think right now we're asking ourselves the wrong question. The question should not be, what time is it? Because we know for a fact there's a time for everything. I think the real question is, what do we do in response to what time it is? When there's a time to laugh, what do we do? When there's a time for sorrow, what do we do? When there's time for war, what do we do? When there's time for peace, what do we do? What's the objective? When we're quiet, there will be repercussions. And when we're loud, there will be repercussions as well. Just figure out which one you want. Right One fam, I encourage you guys to go out, be strong, be courageous. Understand that this isn't checkers, this is chess we're playing. So you got to be in it for the long game. As long as we're respectful and loving, we'll be okay. So be blessed. Go out, have fun this week. Hug somebody. Try to have good, honest, loving conversations. All right, guys. Have a great one. I see you. Peace.